Welcome to the Longest Turn Board Gaming Podcast. This is episode 53, Top 5 Shelf of Shame Games, 2024. My name is Tyler.
Hello, this is Kevin.
This is Tyson.
In this episode, we're going to bring in the new year talking about games we've played recently, and then we're going to talk about some of the games we haven't. Each of our top 5 Shelf of Shame games that we most want to get played this year. We'll also do a recap of how we did on our 2023 Shelf of Shame games. How are you guys doing?
Good. Holidays were great.
Minus all the illness.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around.
Colorado's like a
I saw that.
sick ward right now.
It's a petri dish of disease.
Yeah.
But I think, at least my family, we're kind of on the tail end of it. I'm hoping.
I felt like that for like 2 weeks. And I still wake up congested every day.
Yeah, right.
As
right.
I'm sure you can hear in my voice.
The sultry tones. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe not, because we haven't recorded in a while. People don't remember what our voices sound like. We took a holiday break, and I think it's fun to sit back down and see you guys again. I haven't seen either of you in a while. It's been a while. I haven't played games with either of you in a very long time.
Yeah, we got to get back to it.
Yeah.
Game night is tough to schedule during the holidays. It just is. We had like 2 weeks or 3 weeks in a row. We're like, okay, let's play on Thursday. Who's available? Crickets.
There's work parties.
I've got a work party, or I've got this, or
I'm going out of town.
Yeah,
or I've got a wedding.
My girls did a Nutcracker, and it was just nonstop Nutcracker all December. So it's nice to kind of be past that, even though the holidays are fun. But it's nice to get back to normal life and hopefully game nights. Right
Next week.
Let's do it. Yeah, next week.
My wife will be out of town, so hopefully I'm available every night for gaming.
Nice. Okay.
Also Halo too.
Yep, that's a given.
Yeah, you were saying when we were playing Halo the other night, one of your goals that you were thinking of making for this year related to board gaming, and I was like, I'd be okay if we just got a game night in. That'd be a great goal to start out with.
Right. Yeah. Are you guys doing any gaming goals at all?
Ask me in like 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes?
Yeah, let me think about it a little bit.
Okay, all right.
My only real gaming goal that I've thought of so far was I plan on getting rid of a lot of excess games that
Culling,
I don't ever see.
Yeah.
A bunch of culling is my plan.
Yeah.
I was looking at, like, as I'm putting my list together for the Shelf of Shame, I look up on my shelves and I'm like, I've had that game for 10 years and I haven't played it yet. Do I really? I was going to put one of them on there. I'm like, no,
It's not going to get played.
I don't want to play that. So yeah, there's so many games that I can get rid of,
Yeah. Do you have 5, Tyson?
That aren't expansions?
I had a scrounge for it.
Okay.
I have 5 that aren't expansions. I have one that may be considered an expansion, and I've yet to determine whether or not that one's going on it, because I know I'll get crap for
How do
putting it
you
on
know
there.
if it's not an expansion or not? Like,
We'll
how do you
get
not
to
know that information?
We'll get to that.
I have
Do
an
you
expansion on my list.
You have an expansion on
I
yours?
do. Yep.
Man, okay.
I do a decent job of not having stuff stay on my Shelf of Shame for too long.
Yeah, and I get mine played generally pretty quick. So I think 4 out of the 5 of mine are recent acquisitions for me. But we'll get into that.
I guess one of my goals would be the same goal I had last year, which would be a single-digit Shelf of Shame.
Oh, yeah. How
Didn't
close
have
are
it.
you?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
The problem is you keep buying games, or Kickstarters keep arriving.
That's true.
Yeah,
Right.
and I believe one of your ways to try and get to that goal last year was to
Sell some
try to get
games.
rid of them. And you got rid of a few, but not a lot,
Yeah.
if I recall.
I culled a little bit, but not as much as I needed to.
Yeah, I sold 4 or 5 towards the end of the year,
Yeah.
but not enough.
Yeah. I want to play a lot of different games. So I think I ended the year at like 137 unique games played. So I want to bump that up to like 150 just to get a lot of different games played this next
ambitious.
year. I mean, that may be a little ambitious.
Does that include Board Game Arena, or is that independent
No,
of
that's
Board
just
Game?
that's
That's
just
on table.
Yeah, face to face on the table. Because I think I didn't add up my Board Game Arena games as well to that 137. So that could have been up above 150 with BGA. But that's one. And then, get 365 plays is the goal. That's doable too, I think.
Yeah.
Face to face. A game a day,
Yeah.
I sat down and played 4 rounds of Lorcana with my daughter the other day. So
you're on track.
I am on track. Gotta keep that up.
Well, should we get into some of the games we have been playing lately? Even though we haven't been playing with each other, we've been playing with family and on
our own.
On our own.
Yeah, that's
yep.
me.
Let's
solo.
Yeah, right.
All right, Kevin, do you want to go first? Kick us off.
Yeah. So I got a game played, actually a game off of my shelf of shame from last year. I barely squeaked it in, and that is Furnace. So this is designed by Ivan Lashin. It's published by Arcane Wonders. This is an engine building game. And when you think of engine building games, you probably should think of this game because that's purely what this game is, right? It's distilled down to, that mechanic, actually 2 mechanics. It's bidding and engine building. So the way the game works is you start the game with a startup card. Okay, this will give you a few starting resources. Then you have a capitalist card, and your capitalist card will be kind of a unique player power that only you have, which I think is really cool. I love games that kind of give you something that's unique and only you can do. You also get 4 capital discs, and these discs range in value from 1 to 4, and you get all 4 of those in your color. The way the game works is you flip over a number of cards and you get to bid on those cards using your capital discs. And the rules for bidding are you can only have 1 colored disc of your color on each card, and there can't be matching numbers on that card. So if somebody plays a 4, somebody else can't play a 4 onto that card, for example. Okay. Then you resolve those cards. Whoever bid and wins that card, you resolve from left to right. And that's really important because if you don't win the bid, you get something for not winning. So if you're low bid, you bid a 1, somebody bid a 4, you may get some resources, or you may be able to convert resources into another resource. Okay. So you do that, and then you have cards in front of you, and then you do the production phase. Production phase is you get goods from your cards, and you can resolve those in any way. And then you can convert those goods into coins, and coins are how you win the game. That's victory points at the end of the game. So the whole game, you're trying to convert goods into victory points, getting an engine, running your engine, and this lasts for 4 rounds. There's also a way that you can upgrade cards, and you upgrade cards by flipping them over. You get an additional benefit on a card that you upgrade. It becomes a more powerful card, and you can generally do that once per turn unless you get these upgrade tokens that will allow you to do it more times than 1 per turn. That's it. Super simple game, engine builder. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. My wife kicked my butt, but it just makes me want to go back and play it again and get better at it. We played the 2-player variant, and I thought that worked out really well. You roll a die. There's 6 cards out. Whatever the number is, then if it's a 3, you count 3 cards in, you put the lowest available die from the dummy, or lowest available capital disc from the dummy player on that card. And it's just a really simple, seamless way to have a dummy player I thought worked really well. The dummy player blocked me multiple times, which was infuriating, but it simulated well an actual player, which I thought was pretty cool. So I'm excited to play again. It's the only concern I have is that it seems like the first playthrough, you see most of the cards and you see most of at least the variations of what those cards could be. So it might get a little samey after a while if you're only playing the base game, but there are expansions, and I've heard those expansions kind of fill the game a little bit more and make it a little bit more robust. So
I've played this once, and I also enjoyed my play of it, and it was only, like I said, one time. But I remember, as you were describing, the auctioning or the bid part of it, where there may be reasons why you might want to lose on a certain one, right?
Yep.
And I love any bid game that gives you incentive to both win or lose certain like bids, because it may be advantageous. And so it can really mess you up if you're intending to lose something and then you somehow win that thing.
Yep. And
you don't now have the resources to do the things that you wanted to later. I think that's clever about what happens in Furnace.
There's a little bit of pressure luck in there, right? Because you can purposefully try to lose that card because it's going to give you resources that you need later in order to convert into other resources to get you victory points. But, I'm going to play a 2 here, and I'm currently high bid, and you're hoping that somebody's going to outbid you. I mean, that pressure luck and those decisions, I love those decisions in bidding games. I think about Raw. It's such a simple bidding game, but it's an agonizing decisions, on what you're going to put out there. And I get that same feeling with this one.
So I only have one play too, and it was at 2-player. And I remember enjoying the play. Logan destroyed me, but I thought the game was great. And yet in the time since I played it, I haven't had any desire at all to go back to it. Hearing you talk about it again makes me want to play it like at 4-player and see if it takes it to the next level, I guess, and gets me interested in it. Because right now I have my copy listed for sale. I haven't gone back to Oscar Isaac dressed as Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It just hasn't happened. I haven't pulled it off the shelf again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one that I'm going to keep, and I'm interested in playing it at a higher player count just to see what the dynamic is, especially in the bidding, right?
I played it at 3, so I never got to play with the dummy character. But I mean, from what you're describing,
it does it well.
Sounds like it's 3 players more or less.
Yeah.
Other than you can see what the third player is trying to build out their engine with, and you can be like, oh, that card is or isn't going to be available. So there may be more competition for certain cards and things like that at higher player counts, so that you can realize that, that I may need to bid higher on this one when I don't actually want to bid as high on that one as others. I think there is a little bit more tension, at least from what you guys are describing, in my 3-player game than your 2-player games.
Yeah. So it would be really cool as if you got the Interbellum expansion, and then we could play that and then really get some mileage with the game and see where we're at with it.
Or you...
I'm cutting down, though. Shelf of Shame.
Yeah, no, I am interested in trying that out just to see how it changes up the game.
Yeah.
And, I really like it as it is. I love games where you're building your own thing, right? And that's exactly what you're doing in this one. You're building your own thing that's unique to you. And I like that. And so, yeah, I may pick up the expansion. I don't know. And my wife seemed to like it, so that is a bonus. So cool. I think it'll get more play if the family likes it. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I, as well, am trying to cut down my game purchases.
What was the game from 10 years ago that you hadn't played yet?
Skyline 3000.
Okay. I don't even know that I've heard of that.
It's an Alan Moon. Alan Moon, right?
Oh, okay.
And there's another designer on there, and I don't remember what his name is. But
it sounds as famous as Ticket to Ride, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like it has 1 million expansions. No, and there's another one, Midgard. You guys know this one?
I do know Midgard.
Okay.
I've never played it. I almost had an opportunity to play it.
Eric Lang. Yeah, it's kind of the precursor to Blood Rage.
Yeah.
I was thinking about putting that on my spoiler alert. I was thinking about putting that on my list, but did not.
Oh, okay.
So, because I'm like, do I really want to play this game? I also have Blood Rage, so why not just play that one?
So for all the listeners out there who are currently looking at your list of games you own,
right,
that haven't figure out what you're,
yeah.
For those playing at home,
there are people on the edge of their seat.
Right. There's person on the edge of their seat.
Yes.
So that's it. That is Furnace. By Arcane Wonders.
Cool. So the game I'm going to talk about first was a game that we were super excited to give to our son Logan for Christmas. He loves playing a game called Deep Rock Galactic on Xbox. I think it's also available on Steam. But basically it's like space mining while you're fighting these alien creatures, right? So you collaboratively are mining minerals in space. Well, I didn't know that there was a board game of this. And then one day I came across it, and then I saw that there was a late pledge available, and this was like mid-November. And I was like, okay, I hope this can arrive for Christmas, because Logan doesn't know about it. And we were just really excited to give it to him. And sure enough, it came in time. And on Christmas morning, that was the present that he opened that the most shock and excitement came through in his teenage personality, right? Oh, this is awesome, right? When he opened Deep Rock Galactic, he was like, whoa, just super excited. He didn't know it existed, so that was really cool. We've gotten this to the table a couple times, and then I know he's played it a bunch of solo missions by himself. It's a game designed by Ol Steinus. I'm not sure on the pronunciation. That guy also did Champions of Midgard, and a couple other widely known games. And I have Meeples versus Monsters. I believe he also did that for AEG. And it's published by Mood Publishing. And they have actually since had another crowdfunding project for a couple of new expansions. It's a 1 to 4 player cooperative game. It gave me a little bit of a vibe of Gloomhaven without as much story, and the missions seem to be a little more similar than they are in some of the missions that I've seen in Gloomhaven. But basically, you're playing as different characters that have unique abilities, which Logan loves asymmetric abilities. I was the scout, so I could move around pretty fast, and I could hop over caverns. And
nobody touches a dwarf!
Each game you have certain requirements of certain types of minerals and other objects that you're supposed to collect. You're moving around. You got 3 actions on your turn. You've got a primary weapon and a secondary weapon and ammo. And as you use up that ammo to shoot spawning creatures, you're rolling dice to see if you do enough damage. You also roll dice when you're trying to mine stuff. It's moving around the board, cool miniatures, trying to get the minerals and collect them and then get back to the escape pod. If someone gets knocked unconscious or loses all their health, then somebody else has to go and revive them. And so it's just a really well done game. I really enjoyed my plays with it. I liked the first couple that we played. They weren't too challenging, but I know you can make it more difficult. And I think the missions get a little more difficult as you go along. And it's not like a running campaign story. It's more just different setups, I think. But really fun game. Really enjoyed it. We've had a lot of fun with this over the holiday break, and excited for the expansions to come whenever they fulfill. So
you're in for the expansion. I guess Logan would be in for the expansions.
Logan is in for the expansions, yes. I don't know that he knows about them. If he were to listen to the podcast, then I guess he would, but I don't know that he listens anymore. So
I guess we'll find out, right?
Yeah. No, but I'm excited to play this more. Like I said, it gives me a little bit of a vibe of Gloomhaven, not completely, but cooperatively moving around the map, trying to take out guys, collect things, make it back to the escape pod, and get out of there. So,
what about like the terrain and stuff like that? Is there a lot of like little terrain like Gloomhaven in the setups, or is it?
Yeah, there's a little bit, and like stalactites. Are they from the ground?
I'll take your word on it.
Mites, I think mites hang from the ceiling. Stalactites.
No kind of Sandys, you're wrong.
I think they should be called stalactites, and then that encapsulates all of them, so you could just say that and you're never wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Right? Stalactites.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
Yeah. So those are out on the map. There's different terrain setups. You have to sometimes mine through walls to get to where you need to go. One of the characters, I think my wife had a grappling hook where she could she could get across the cavern, and then other people could follow with taking less movement. You know, it's one of those, every turn, there's the possibility of more monsters spawning potentially near you. You get grenades that you can use. You can call in like ammo and resupply packs and stuff as you pay for them in gold or whatever resource you have to pay with. But
so how does it compare to like Nemesis, or because it seems like a pretty thematic game, right?
Yeah.
So like
I mean, I would choose Nemesis over this.
You'd choose that over most games, though.
I probably would. Yeah.
Right.
I really enjoy it. I think anybody that's a fan of the video game is going and has some crossover into the board game world that plays this is going to really enjoy it.
So the IP is going to help it for sure.
Yeah. I think they were true to the source material, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah. So they did a nice job. It plays, I think we've played in about an hour, both of ours. I think some of the bigger, more difficult missions can go a little longer, but
nice.
Both of our sessions were about an hour. So
sounds fun.
Yeah.
It does sound like when I would be, as far as cooperative games goes, this is one of the types that I would be interested in experiencing. You did mention though that like it's not really a campaign, like it doesn't build on it, so you could one-off play it with anybody at any given time, basically.
Yep.
More like maybe Cthulhu Death May Die style.
Yeah, that's similar to that. It's a great game. It's 8.4 out of 10 on BGG.
Well, cool. While you were mastering mining, I've spent my break playing a game called The Master Theorem. And
Sounds
by
mathy.
game, there is some math involved in this. So I got this. It's not really a quote-unquote game in the terms that it's not a board game. But this is The Master Theorem, a book of puzzles, intrigue, and wit. So if you've ever heard of like Journal 29 or I've played a couple of like puzzle journals and things like that, this is in line with that. So it's a completely soloable experience, and it's not, I don't believe, on BGG.
I couldn't find it.
I think that this is its own little thing. However, it does, the same group that put out a board game called Snippets, a pretty simple word game, party game kind of a experience. So they do dabble in the board game realm, but they focus more on puzzles. And if you know the board game publisher Post Curious, they think of those styles of games or puzzles that you're putting together. I'll just read actually right out of the book what it says. It says the guy who designed it is called M. And he says, my puzzles, called theorems, are not your average Sudoku or crossword puzzles. Free spirits like their creator. The theorems are more open-ended in nature with no instructions per se. Each one is different, but solutions will always be a word or a phrase. So throughout this book, there's two of them. This is the basic one. I got it for Christmas from my wife. She is always looking at clever ways to get me interesting things that she thinks I might like, and she hit home on this one, I think, because it has about, I think, 42 different puzzles in this game, and every page, when you open up the book, on the left-hand side, there's some sort of text that goes in that talks about something contextually with on the right-hand side, a picture, and sometimes you'll see a picture of, like, there's one that has, like, the title is called 8-Bit, and there are a bunch of different pictures of 8-bit video games on the right, and it's just talking about 8-bit video games. And so you're looking through and reading through this message and trying to figure out what is it trying to tell me that I have to figure out. And I don't really want to spoil it for anybody who would play this, but there are a lot. It's basically just talking about things. For example, they have a couple of training ones in here, and one of them is, it says, hang on.
Tyson's turning the pages for those of you listening.
Can you hear the page turns?
He's still turning them. He found the page.
There's a training exercise called Beware the Ides of March, and it has a picture of Caesar, or a Roman structure, and it has a quotation from Caesar the Fourth. And so it talks a little bit about Rome and Caesar, Julius Caesar, and a couple of other things in there, and it's trying to get you to think in those lines. The book has a lot. It encourages you actually to use the internet in a lot of scenarios. So in this training exercise, and I'm going to spoil this a little bit, so if you're going to play it and you don't want to be spoiled by the training exercise, maybe fast forward a little bit. But the training exercise, what it tries to do is it says, hey, Caesar and the fourth in there, and you basically have to take that, Google Caesar, and then figure out that, hey, there is a cipher called a Caesar cipher, and all the Caesar cipher does is it takes the alphabet and shifts it a certain number of letters. So A, if it's a Caesar cipher of 1, it's going to be A would equal B, B would equal C, C would equal D, etc., on and on. So Caesar the Fourth now means that it's a Caesar cipher of 4, and you have to now figure out what the message is saying. That's a very simple, easy example of what's going on here. They get really difficult to the point that there's a couple of them I'm like, I have no idea how I was supposed to get that, but it has solutions and things in the back of the book that are just basically walking you through, this is exactly how you would come and get all of the answers. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've gone through a little bit more than half of the puzzles at this point. And so if you like Sudoku or crosswords or things like that, or escape rooms, and you wanted a little bit more out of it, I think that this is a really fun experience for that. It's not quite a board game, but this was the only board game style thing that I got for Christmas, and so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it.
Cool.
Nice.
It's like $30 on Amazon. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Plus, it gets you to think about Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah. How often do you guys
Egypt.
think about ancient Rome? That's like a thing that men do.
I'm trying to
You
understand.
haven't heard this?
No.
Google it. How often,
I don't know what's happening right now.
how often do men think about ancient Rome? This was like in the news a little while ago.
You know how I was saying sometimes I don't
Looking
understand the jumps from one puzzle to the next. I don't understand the jump from that.
You should have seen Tyson's face after Tyler said that. He had no clue what was going on, just for the listeners at home.
Yeah. How many times do you think about Rome? 15 to 20 times a day.
What?
Yeah.
I do not
This is
think
a thing.
about Rome 50 to
I don't think about it that often.
I thought about it one time today when he was talking about it.
right now.
Right now.
Exactly.
Et Brute.
Huh. Who are these guys that are thinking about Rome 15 times a day?
How often do you? It's a TikTok trend. How often do you think about Rome?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not up.
I'm not either,
with the
but
TikTok. So
So how often do you think about Rome?
yeah, this is
Tyler?
a question.
I'd say every other week, maybe.
I can't
I
even
had
quantify
So
it.
when I'm looking at my board game wall and I see
Rome.
Colosseum,
Yeah.
you know,
Or somebody mentions glory to Rome.
or glory to
So much for the glory of Rome.
there you go.
Or you see a
glory to
gladiator on
Rome.
the
We had
shelf.
somebody on our Discord mentioned glory to Rome.
Or what was
Earlier.
that one gladiator game we played with you, Tyson?
Gorus Maximus.
Gorus
Maximus.
That makes me think of Rome.
I try not to think about that.
You know, I did just read a book called
Is that-
Circe, which, I mean, that's Greek gods, but I was thinking a little bit about Rome there because I was thinking about, I read not the Odyssey, I read Ulysses.
Uh-huh.
So I thought about Rome then.
Nice.
I've thought about Rome more than once this week.
Yeah. Is
Wow.
Gorus Maximus one of the games you're going to call?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's not going to get much playtime in our group.
That's
so.
the problem. Is even if I like it, and I could play it solo. I have played it solo.
Was that? I don't even remember the mechanics in that. Was that a trick taker?
It's a trick taker.
It's a trick taker.
Yeah.
And I generally like trick takers.
I do too.
Yeah.
So, Master Theorem, $30 on Amazon. I also noticed there's a Master Theorem Elite. Are you going to get that
Whoa.
after you finish this one?
I don't know. I hear the reviews on them. It is not as favorable as the base Master Theorem. So
Oh, okay.
we'll see when I finish this one.
What's your success rate then for those that you've done? Is it like a 50-50 thing before you have to go look at?
Each puzzle has 3 hints that you can look at.
Oh, okay.
I've never not completed it with the hints. Maybe one time. One time I didn't get it without hints because I didn't understand. Even when I read the solution and everything, I was like, I don't know how I was supposed to get there. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
But without hints, like doing it completely without hints, I'd say about out of the 20, 22, somewhere in there puzzles that I've done at least half of them without hints.
Oh, nice.
Which I've felt accomplished. And they're graded. Some of them are considered easy. Some of them are medium difficulty, and some of them are hard difficulties. And I felt pretty accomplished with... I completed the first hard difficulty one without any hints at all, and I felt accomplished with that one.
Boom.
Nice.
All right. Well, I haven't been playing Master Theorem,
Me neither.
but I have been playing I played it one time. I think it's one of my favorite games that have come out in the past few years. Okay. And that is Cascadia. Fantastic game. There is a new expansion called Landmarks. Tyler and I got to see this at Gen Con, and it, I think, came out shortly thereafter. So it's a newer expansion. So this is designed by Randy Flynn, Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, and Sean Stankwich, with art done by Beth Sobel. And this one's published by AEG. So I'm not going to explain how Landmarks or how Cascadia works, but I will go over some of the changes in Landmarks and why I think it's a fantastic expansion. Probably not something you should throw in with new people, but I think it does a lot of cool things. So Landmarks, it adds more wildlife scoring cards, which is awesome. I mean, you have wildlife scoring cards in the base game. This adds more variety, which I think more of a good thing in a game you already like is a good thing, right? It adds landmarks. You have forests, wetlands, prairies, mountains, and rivers. And there's landmarks for each of these terrain types. And then you have landmark scoring cards. And you have the opportunity to get these landmarks, put them on your board, and then you get a scoring card along with them. So the way that you get landmarks is if you have a corridor, and a corridor is adjacent features like prairies next to each other, that's considered a corridor. If you get 5 prairies, for example, together, you have the option to pick up a landmark. You take a landmark and you put it on the tile that you just placed, and then you get a scoring card, and you have a choice of I think 3 different scoring cards for that landmark. And the scoring card could be on forests, for example. If you get a corridor of forest, you can take a scoring card that says, for every bear you have on the forest, you're going to get 1 point. Okay. That's an example of one you could get. Another example is when you're doing corridor scoring, you can combine 2 corridors that aren't adjacent to each other into one for scoring purposes, which will give you, you get more points and you get the majority for that corridor. So it's not game breaking things that you're going to get for these landmarks, but it's just an additional way to get points and to focus how you're going to build your board, which is really cool. I thought that was a really neat idea. It comes with more tiles. So these keystone tiles, the one that has those little acorns, or not acorns, the nature tokens, right? It has that symbol on there. So it has more of those. And these keystone tiles are split into 3 different terrain types instead of 2 or just 1 terrain type. So that adds a little bit of variability to the game. And that's pretty much it. I thought it was great. It just makes you think about the game in a little bit of a different way. This game is very much a puzzle. It's balancing, getting the wildlife tokens, matching those up with your end game scoring cards, and now having to think about these landmarks and how you're going to put things out on the board. I loved it. I think I'll play with this with experienced players every time.
That was
really
going to be my question.
Yeah.
Is if you mentioned that nobody is going to play this. You wouldn't play it with new players, but you would play it exclusively with this if people have played it?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any reason not to put it in there. I think it just adds another option of what you can do. You can completely ignore the landmarks if you want, but it just gives you another option of scoring, and trying to get everything to work together is just it's a fascinating puzzle to me. But it is a little bit much, I think, if you're just introducing to new players. I mean, if it's a seasoned gamer, there's no reason why they couldn't pick it up. But this one's kind of geared, I think, a little bit more family weight. So if you're playing with your family, you probably don't want to throw in that for the first time you play.
I will say I have to come back to the start of your introducing this game. And I will say I'm a little disappointed, Kevin, because you had set yourself up for an amazing transition, and I was super excited. You said, I haven't played the Master Theorem, but, and then you continued talking, and ultimately you said, I have played Cascadia. I was hoping that 2024 would be your transition year.
Oh, I suck at transitions. So that's never going to happen.
You had me so excited.
I know. I could see it in your eyes over there.
How expensive was this expansion? It's got a lot of content in it.
It's like $30 or something like that.
It's like 45 unique habitat tiles, 5 habitat starter tiles, 35 wildlife tokens, 30 wooden landmark tokens, 60 unique landmarks cards, 50 wildlife scoring cards, 15 tokens, full score pad, and a rule book. There's a lot of stuff going on.
The box that it comes in is as big as the base game box.
Nice.
So there's a lot of stuff.
And it's not standalone. You have to have the base game.
You have to have the base game.
Yeah,
for sure. It comes with a lot of stuff, and
it says 6 players. Is the original 6 players?
Yeah, no, you can play with more players now because it comes with more wildlife tokens, just more tokens in general. Just because a game can play with 6 players, right. I don't necessarily think you should. I don't know. I played it with 3. So I haven't played with the max player count. So it could be fantastic with 6, and it's cool that it's available now, but I don't know.
Well, I'm sure if it's doing well that this will not be the last expansion we'll see for Cascadia. AEG loves their expansions.
Right, and they like money too. So this one I think will make them money.
Yeah.
The more expansions they have, the better. So yeah. So that is Cascadia Landmarks. I'll work on my transitions.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I will not work on my transitions. That's it's just not going to happen.
Except you just did a transition by saying that. That was great.
No, but is he going to transition to the game he's talking about?
Oh.
Through a transition about transitions.
I refuse to. Okay. All right.
But the irony is that you just made a transition by
You did
refusing
not.
to make a transition.
No, I'm refusing. I reject your nonsense. Okay.
I too reject your nonsense. Good day, sir.
Something that I thought was awesome that Van Ryder Games did. They had their Final Girl Season 3 crowdfunding project this summer, I think. One of the things that they did that I thought was awesome was they announced that they had this North Pole nightmare film, right, for Final Girl. And they were going to, anybody who backed Season 3 had access to also get this at a very discounted price plus shipping, hopefully before Christmas. They didn't promise it before Christmas, but said that it was likely. We got ours a week or so before Christmas. It's got Mrs. Claus, and I think her name is Cindy, are the two final girls, and you're fighting against Krampus. And I'm not going to talk about Final Girl. We've talked about that at length in the past. But we got a couple plays of this, and I absolutely loved it. I'm a sucker for Christmas-themed stuff. And so getting to play Christmas-themed Final Girl was absolutely awesome. My wife and I played it the first time together as Mrs. Claus. Krampus is brutal, and the elves,
he should be.
He should be. He drops presents around that most of them are bad. The victims are the elves, and they're very chatty. And anytime you move into their space, you lose some of your time units, whatever the hours.
The resources, the time. Yeah.
There's lots of very cool Christmas-themed items that are available to search for. One of the things that we found that helped us was the Misfit toys. They moved around until they found Krampus, and then they would do damage to Krampus, and then they were off the board. Abominable Snowman was also roaming loose. He would attack anybody he came across. That never worked into our favor, but it was a lot of fun. We found Comet, who let us escape multiple times to the runway location on the board. That was crucial in our victory. It came down to the last turn, and we defeated Krampus with Mrs. Claus. And it was just a great time, right? And then I played a second time with Cindy, I think is her name, one of the elves. And
didn't quite go as well, right?
Didn't quite go as well. My wife was also playing. She was playing a Season 2 film at the same time. And Krampus got up to like his max abilities, his progression, whatever that chart is called, in the second or third round. And so he got his terror ability, or I don't remember what they're called, but he's more powerful ability going. He went through the terror deck super fast, and Cindy couldn't find anything to save her life. Like, she was searching everywhere. She kept failing at that. Even when she went to attack Krampus, she injured herself. And on my last turn, I did 5 damage to Krampus, and then she got hurt, and then he finished her off. So it was a brutal defeat, like kind of like you have in Cthulhu Death May Die from time to time.
But it told a story.
And it was an absolute blast. And at the same time, Krampus was destroying me. I think my wife was losing to the Nurse Cratchit. I don't know. Yeah, she got obliterated too. So it was fun. Final Girl's a great game. Was excited to get a couple more plays of it. I still haven't played it a ton. My wife and my son have played it a lot, but this, like I said, I'm a sucker for the Christmas theme, so this was right up my alley.
I went to the Demolition Games in Salt Lake. We always go there when we're visiting. So I went in there, and I had 2 games I wanted to get. I wanted to get Dice Throne Santa vs. Krampus, which they had, and then I wanted to see if they had this Final Girl feature film, right? They didn't have that one. Not a surprise, right? Yeah. But I was hoping that maybe they had that one in there. We did pick up 2 other feature films. So,
oh, awesome!
Yeah, so
cool.
I still haven't played it yet, but I'm excited to get it played.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am a sucker for the Christmas themed ones, like the Santa versus Krampus from Dice Throne. We got that last year right before Christmas, and dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about one more in a minute. It's also Christmas themed.
Nice.
But
nice.
I love these like kind of one-off expansions that are Christmas themed. I would love to see like next year Unmatched, Krampus, Buddy the Elf, and Clark Griswold's box. That would be amazing.
Right. I mean, it's a mandatory that Krampus has to be in there, though.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Or what's the other one? What's the one that Dwight dresses up as? That he's
Belschnickel.
Belschnickel, yeah.
You were Belschnickel for Halloween, and you don't remember his name. But that was good.
Yeah. We need a Belschnickel, Krampus, Clark Griswold, Unmatched.
But Buddy the Elf's got to be in there too, like you said.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Agreed.
I gotta point out that Tyler, you don't play as many solo games.
I don't.
You've started to play more in recent years, but I am so satisfied that I played this game and then Shelly just kind of fell in love with it, and now everybody in our group basically has a copy. It's one of those few games that it's okay for everybody to have a copy of.
Yeah.
Well, because you're playing it, solo. So.
This is right up Shelly's alley. She loves horror movies. I'll watch some of them sometimes. I don't know. It's not my thing, but Krampus. I love Krampus. One of the best Christmas movies ever. I got the Krampus blanket. I got the Krampus teddy bear over there with the brains and showing, and all the stuff from Weta that was Krampus created. So,
wholesome entertainment. Love it. Yeah, it's great.
Not best, but it's up in the top 5 for me. So check it out next Christmas season. That is Final Girl, The North Pole Nightmare.
Nice. Love it. All right. So Tyson, do you have any more games to talk about?
No, like I said, during Christmas time, I don't get nearly as many games played because everybody's busy, and I focus on doing a lot of holiday stuff with my family, and my family doesn't really play board games all that much. I mean, we did play Outfoxed more, but I've talked about Outfoxed already, and that's a children's game. Yeah, so that's kind of what we play. A lot of games over the holidays. That's kind of what we do. One of the games we played, it was a new game. So I recently had a Kickstarter fulfilled from All Play, and it was a bunch of trick-taking games. And I didn't get all of the trick-taking games in this Kickstarter, but I did pick up one called Pies. And they call it a trick-taking game. It's very loosely a trick-taking game, which I'll talk about. But this is, it re-implements a game called Plums. Okay. So the way this game works is it's over 3 rounds, and there are cards, I believe, from 1 to 25. And on these cards, there's different fruit. There's also, on some of them, actions on the top of the card. And there are cards that are scoring cards where you're trying, it's a set collection where you're trying to get certain types of fruit, or in 2 of one type and 2 of another type, for example, and that will get you points. So the way the game works is you deal out the cards, and everybody will play a card. So it starts with the start player, they will play a card, and then it will go around. And when everybody plays their card, if you play the highest valued card, you get first choice in drafting the cards that everybody played. So let's say a 1 was played, there are 3 players are playing. A 1 was played, a 10 was played, and an 18 was played. If you play the 18, you get first choice of those 3 cards, okay? And then you draft. When you draft a card, there are some actions that you can take. So you take a card, and you can then steal a card from another player, for example, unless they have the dog in front of them. And that's another action. You take a card, there's a dog, you get the dog in front of you, it protects you from other people stealing your cards. The last action is if you take a card that has a pie, these pie symbols, you get these wooden pies. And the reason why those are important is they will add value to the cards that you play. So let's say in a future round, you play a card that's a 10, you can add a pie token to it, and guess how much gets added to that card? 3.14. Get it? All right. I don't. Please explain it to me.
It's kind of lame, to be honest, but yeah, it works, right? So then if you play a 10, you play a pie token, it's 13.14 is the value of that card. So it's going to beat everything up to a 13, right? So you draft these cards, and then one time during your turn, you can take one of the scoring cards that you have in front of you. You can place it face down. You then score that card, and then you turn in all of the fruit that was used to score that card, and it goes into a discard pile. Okay, that's pretty much the whole game. You do that over 3 rounds. Whoever has the most points wins. Okay, I thought it was super interesting, right? Because you're playing cards, and when you're playing cards, you're thinking, okay, do I want to win this trick by playing a high card? But I need to collect this fruit. Do I want to play a card where I think I can get that fruit because it works for a scoring card? Do I want to play it for the action because I see somebody over across the table that has a card that I need that's going to mess them up because I see their scoring card. So I'm going to try to steal it from them. Or do I play it to get the dog because I really don't want somebody to steal my card? It's got a lot of interesting decisions to make, and it makes you think a little bit different. The reason why I don't think it's a trick-taking game is because it's a drafting game, right? You play cards out, then you draft those cards. So it's not like you're winning the trick by playing a high number. You're just basically winning the ability to draft first in the cards that were played, which I don't know. It's a little bit different. It's not quite trick-taking in my mind, but I can see how maybe somebody would think of it as a trick-taking game. So I mean, that's Pies. I thought it was a great game.
Well, I mean, I don't know that we should split hairs about the difference between trick taking when they're throwing a dog in this game about pies. And I know this isn't the most thematic game, but what does the dog do with it? Why is dogs related to pies?
The dog will protect you from people stealing your pies, Tyson.
How is that a thing? Like, do we put the pies on the windowsill to cool, and that's what it is? You got a guard dog in the yard?
Yeah, you've heard of guard dogs, right? Yeah, they're guarding your pies. They're guarding your ingredients.
I've never
to
heard
make
of a
your
guard
pie.
dog for pies.
I have no dog in this fight.
Oh.
Look at that dog, Tyson.
Whoa, that's like the raw token.
The raw token, yeah.
Yeah, right? I got the upgraded bits. It's got this, I'm showing this dog token. It's a big chunky dog that it's a lab or actually a golden retriever.
Golden retriever, maybe.
Yeah, I think it might be a golden retriever.
What did you think the
that
dog
makes
would
no
eat
that makes
the
no
pies?
sense.
Yeah.
The golden retriever is just going to lick the person that comes.
Story, the Bumpus's dogs coming in and eating the turkey.
Oh yeah, right.
But these ones protect the food, the pie.
I don't know what we're talking about.
It protects the pie. Were you Gandalf?
I don't know what just happened.
I don't know what just happened either. But anyway, the dog will protect you. Thematically, it may break down, but the mechanics of the game are fun.
Oh, it sounds fun.
And you should,
Yeah, well,
I think it's
brought your copy. Hopefully we'll get to play it after we finish recording.
That's right. Let's hurry this. Let's hurry this up. Right?
Okay.
So if that sounds interesting to you, go check out Pies. I think it's definitely worth it.
Nice. Yeah. So one more Christmas game, like I said, to talk about. This is a mouthful. Betrayal, the Yuletide Tale, Evil Reigns, and the Winter's Pale. Wow. It's almost like a haiku, maybe. I don't know. So this is an expansion for Betrayal at House on the Hill, 3rd edition only. Cannot be played with the 2nd edition, which is kind of junk. So I actually bought a new copy. I bought the 3rd edition, and the pieces were a pain to punch, and the cardboard tiles are all U-shaped.
What?
Which is very frustrating. I don't know how you're on your 3rd edition. This is Avalon Hill, and you still haven't figured out how to print cardboard. And the art's very beautiful.
That's because they were focused on the sliders and ensuring they got those right.
You know what?
Cardboard are U-shaped in this. I could funnel water down a string of these to the other side of the table if I needed to for some reason.
Because they were warped? Or what?
Yeah, they're just warped. Yeah.
Wow. This blows my mind because I had 2nd edition, and the 2nd edition.
I have 2nd edition as well.
And I got the first printing of the 2nd edition, and those tiles were warped beyond belief. I had to get with the publisher to have them send me new tiles because they were warped beyond belief. And like to your point, Tyson, the clips are supposed to be tight, and they would just fall off.
The clips are good.
They were useless. Okay, so they learned the clips, but they can't figure cardboard out.
Yeah.
They're progressing. That's the point.
Yeah. Are they though?
They're getting better. They're getting better at one thing at a time.
So I started off with a negative foot. I was a little frustrated that I bought the 3rd edition for this because I think they could have released a rules sheet like, hey, if you have 2nd edition, you can still play this. Here's this slight adjustments that you need to make. I think it's kind of ridiculous to say that, this requires the 3rd edition. Logan had another expansion. It's a werewolf one. that he had bought at Demolition Games over the summer, and we hadn't played it yet because we didn't have the 3rd edition. Anyway, we played Betrayal, the Yuletide Tale, yada, yada, yada. There are 5 new haunts with this that are all Christmas themed. I got to play as Jingle Claus, who's this like mutilated Santa, and anytime he gets an item before the haunt starts, he has to give it away to someone. So that was interesting.
But is there a Krampus scenario?
It turns out we got the 5th scenario, which was Krampus, and it was okay. Logan and I, we weren't the traders, right? And it was pretty easy. It was pretty one-sided with the circumstances that we had with how the board was set up and whatnot. So it was fun. I look forward to exploring the other 4 scenarios next year for around this time or around Christmas time. But it didn't blow me away. It was fun. There's a couple of new Christmas items and a couple of Christmas tiles. Like I said, I love the one-off Christmas expansions and themed things. I look forward to trying the other scenarios. But I think that's true with any Betrayal haunt. Sometimes based on how the setup is or where players are when the haunt triggers, because you go in and you're exploring rooms and building out the house and getting items and upgrading your character's abilities and stuff. Sometimes when the haunt triggers, just based off how the circumstances are when it triggers, the scenario doesn't play out that well. And then there's other times where the haunt happens and it's an amazing experience. So I think sometimes that's just dependent on the circumstances. And this one just didn't have a lot of tension in it at all. So I look forward to going back and playing the other 4. A little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth that I had to buy the 3rd edition for this because I don't really think that was necessary. So... And maybe I should have researched that a little more and figured that out on my own.
Do you think you could modify it yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could. And there were a few rule changes that the components didn't really change that I could tell a lot, other than better sliders, but worse cardboard. So, yeah, it was fun. Betrayal, Yuletide Tale.
Nice.
Another Krampus experience.
Love it.
Yeah. I played a ton of games over the break. Almost every day, the week after Christmas, we were down here playing games. I played Paco, Sako, a twist on chess. I talked to the designer at Origins this year. He's a Dutch dude. It was really cool to speak some Dutch with him. Played a few games of that with Logan. It puts a whole different twist on playing chess because your pieces can merge, and then either player can control them, which is a very unique thing. And you're trying to put your combined pieces in a way that you can move. When you move one of your other pieces onto a combined piece, that new piece takes the spot, and now you have a free move with the piece that you're replacing. So you can like chain together 3 or 4 moves in one move if you set up the board. So, but it kind of changes how you approach attacking the king and protecting the king. It was a different experience. I think I like real chess more, but it was a fun experience. Played a bunch of other new games that I might talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of games to play as well. Lorcana, I mentioned. I love this game.
Awesome.
It's so much fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is. And my daughter loved it. She wanted to build a deck the other day. She built a deck. You use 2 colors. She built a 60 card deck, and she was just getting so jazzed up about it, which was awesome. We played 4 games. It went 2 and 2. And some of the games came down to the wire. You played a 20 lore, and there was 19 to 20, just super tense and exciting. She came back. I was at 19 and she beat me, 20 to 19, and she just snatched the victory away from me, which I was not upset about in the least because she was so excited about this card combo that she got to play, and
awesome.
It was really cool. So I'm excited. I'm sucked in. I'll be buying the next set that comes out.
Well, how many packs have you bought since the last time we talked?
I don't want to talk about it. No, I mean, we went to Demolition and bought, I don't know how many. I bought some deck boxes, some Lorcana themed deck boxes, and maybe 15 boosters.
Individual cards?
No. So you get a booster that's 12, right? And those are it's okay. So you get into this, it's not cheap. You just have to know that going into it. So if you get sucked into unlimited, it's gonna be the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Just hope if you're buying boosters, hope you get the good cards and you can sell them if you want to sell them. Then you can make some of your money back. But
have you sold any yet?
Yeah, I did. I sold the Alice Enchanted and the Shere Khan Enchanted. Yeah, and the prices.
That's awesome.
Prices have gone down a little bit, so I think I sold them at a good time. But
Sweet.
I mean, I'm not the collector where I need everything. But there's a lot of those collectors out there, and they'll pay a premium for those cards. So and it helps you buy other boosters. So I'm all for that. Yeah. So I'm into the game, not a ton because of that. Still spent a lot, but it's a blast. I won't talk about that anymore. We talked about it a lot. We played Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. That's always fun. Next Station London, I got to play that, the physical version of that. Awesome. I loved it.
Cool.
I taught that to my brother-in-law and his girlfriend, Matt and his girlfriend, and I think they liked it quite a bit. Actually, we played it, then they got on BGA and played on their phones.
Immediately after?
I think pretty much. I think it was that night. Yeah, that night they were playing after, which was
That's
cool.
a good one. The one concern I have about that one on the table is that I love BGA's ability to calculate your points as you go, right?
Right.
And not have to worry about drawing the cards for everything. But I mean, that's not that big of a deal. But
I liked the fact that it had actual colored pencils, you know, and it's one of those relaxing kind of fun games just to play. I do like, the BGA does calculate it for you, but I mean, at the end, when you're done with a route of a certain color, you calculate yourself how many, tourist destinations you went to, and it's not that difficult, but, I liked it. So got that one played. Cheating Moth. I've talked about this one before. It's a game where you're trying to cheat, which is always fun. And if you get caught, then
that's in the same family of Cockroach Poker, isn't it?
Yeah, I've talked about this one before. It's been a while, but that one's kind of hilarious and frustrating at the same time.
Nice.
So yeah, Zombie Dice, Tenzi. Tenzi is more an activity than a game. I got in a little debate with my family about this. And I'm like, you're just rolling to get the same number. I mean,
it's ta-da or whatever.
It's an activity.
It's probability.
And maybe this is a discussion for a future podcast. Like, what makes a game,
Theorems.
There you go.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun, a lot of good games that got played.
I got some more Dune Imperium Uprising.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was fun to take a little bit of time off to get some games played, hang out with family, play some puzzles. It's good times.
That wraps up what we've been playing lately. Let's get into our Shelf of Shame. And before we talk about 2024, what's going to be on our list for this year, if you made it this far in a podcast, a board game podcast, and you don't know what a Shelf of Shame is, props to you. Thanks for listening this far. Shelf of Shame are games that we have on our shelves that we've bought or received or somehow acquired and yet still have not played them.
Right. Which sometimes that number gets pretty high for some of us.
Some of us.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know Tyson was asking us to give him a couple games so he could fill his top 5 list, but
just about.
I'm not sure if I'm in triple digits or double digits.
I don't. You clearly have the most on the shelf.
I do.
So
and I need to cut back on that.
I may be in the 20s, maybe, but yeah.
If we're not including expansion, I think I have that I haven't talked about in previous years. I think I have 5.
Oh, really? Okay.
We're gonna recap a little bit of how we did on our 2023 lists, which was all the way back in episode 30.
Jeez.
So should we just take turns going down our top 5?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Tyson, do you want to go first and let us know how you did?
Yeah. So my number 5 game on my Shelf of Shame from 2023 was an expansion, Crusaders Divine Influence. I did get this played.
With your brother-in-law.
Yes. Oh. I played it on, I played Crusaders on the table. I was going to try and introduce Divine Influence there, and I had it partially set up, but I was like, it might be a little bit too complicated. So I took it out, but then I since I had read the rules and everything, I pulled it up on BGA, and then I played like 5 or 6 games of it on BGA. Okay. I really like Divine Influence and what it adds. I would not add this into the base game if it's the first time you're playing the game. Even with experienced gamers, probably, just because it does add a little bit more complexity, and it's not overly complex, but it's not as simple. But I really liked it. It adds more buildings, it adds more actions that you can take, and it makes a little bit more combo-y types of things going on, which is, I really enjoyed it. So that was my number 5.
I was going to say, that goes back to somewhat of a debate. Does playing it on BGA really count getting it off your shelf?
I would say no.
Because last year I had A Feast for Odin, which I played and understood, got plays on BGA, but I've never actually played it on the table. So we had this
conversation. I got it out. I played with the pieces. I read the rules from it. But the conversation we had last year that I came to the understanding of is... do you understand it well enough that you could teach the game from it? Like, and I could teach this game.
You're not physically getting it off your shelf and playing the game.
I got A Feast for Odin off the shelf to put the rules back in the box that I had.
Oh, I've got games off the shelf and played with the pieces many times and haven't actually played the game.
I disagree with your assessment entirely because I played it.
I think I'm with Tyson on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to say, if you play it on BGA and you understand it, that counts.
And because I'm actually, like, I learned it from the physical copy. Like, I didn't learn it from a PDF or anything either. So, like, for me, I feel like I got value out of my physical copy, even if I didn't play with the physical copy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's something to be said there. I've only played Barrage on BGA. And I own the game. So
do you understand Barrage?
I do understand Barrage. Yeah.
Then that counts.
Then yeah,
that's not on yourself.
And you have read the rules from Barrage. You've set it up multiple times.
I've set it up once. Tyler and I were going to play last year sometime, and then I think work blew up and we didn't get to play. So I've had it set up. So all right, I could be persuaded. Sure.
To me, it's similar to like a solo experience, right? Like if I play a game solo and it's not the full multiplayer game, have I actually played the full game? I think so. I think you've played a solo experience of the game and you've played it. It's similar to me in that is if I'm playing the game in a different iteration than what it is, like you get the full experience. You've understood and played it.
All right, you convinced me. Okay,
I think we've bifurcated enough on this.
Well, speaking of bifurcation, I did not get my 4th one on this. It's a Sidereal Confluence Bifurcation. I think this has got to go on my coal list as a result of this.
And the base game?
Oh, I think we're giving away the games to listeners that we didn't get played.
Yeah, that was I said that
was what Tyler said about his games. But Sidereal Confluence Bifurcation is a game I still really want to play. I just have no faith that this game is actually going to get to the table because I don't think the base game alone could get to the table. It's a very asymmetric game. So think Vast or like any of the leader games, like Root to some extent. You have to understand the game before you play it.
Those are tough.
And so it's harder to get to the table. And while I love it, I think that ends up meaning it's got to go on the coal pile to some extent. My next one is also probably going to go on the coal pile as a result. I didn't get it played.
I'll trade you for this.
Hyperborea?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could have it if we play it. Like I want to play it.
It's a bag builder.
It's a bag builder.
Yeah, I like bag builders. Let's play.
It's a bag builder with some like.
Why have we not played this yet?
Map control.
Because games.
Yeah.
Like other games.
And it plays up to 6 players, and I think from what I've read, it plays it well, and so that was one of the reasons I got this game. But
so you're 1 for 3 so far.
Okay.
And I'm about to get the rest of them because I've played the rest. Number 2 is Gugong.
I love this one.
I played this twice, and yes, I had a great experience with this one.
Yeah. I culled my copy, but I'd only ever played at 3-player. I think we played at 4 or 5.
I think we played at 5.
We played at 5, and it was much more enjoyable at 5.
It was really good.
A lot more tension, more competitive, triggering off of each other and reacting to each other. It was much better at 5-player.
And I had played it also at 1-player this past year, and I really enjoyed the solo experience of it as well. So like it met my expectations, and I'm glad I have this one in my collection. So I'll probably be
2 for 4
to it. Last one was my number 1 game was Sleeping Gods. And I played this. This was one of my most played games of 2023. I played it purely solo, but I played hours of this, and I really enjoyed it. I won't belabor it. I've talked about it on previous episodes, but really good game. I'm glad I own it. I'm glad I finally got it off my shelf. It took a while, but it's great.
Nice. So I'm looking through my list, and I'm like, holy cow, I played some of these games last year. It seems like a longer time ago, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. So I got Pandemic, the Clone Wars played. So this was back in probably January or February of last year. I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's based on, that pandemic system. Played it with my neighbor. Haven't gotten back to it, but I think it's staying in my collection. I like the theme. I like that it's co-op.
I like
think
that
it was a good one.
It's a little bit different than base Pandemic, where instead of a set of cards, you're rolling dice and then paying cards to make up the difference when you're attacking enemies.
It did have a different feel, for sure. Yeah, which I appreciate. I mean, you don't want to rehash the same system. I like that it switches it up. So got that one played. And then the next one, boy, did we get this one played.
I feel like I should get credit for this one, too.
Yeah, I do, too.
So this one's Everdell with everything. We got played at Cabin Con. So Ben was nice enough to set that one up and teach us and throw in everything in the kitchen sink into our first play. Took a little bit of time, but I liked it. I thought it was fun. A little overwhelming, that play, but I'm excited to go back and play it some more.
See, doesn't this fall into the same argument as BGA? Because you didn't actually play your copy of this. So does it actually come off your shelf of shame? Okay. I think it does, but that seems like the same type of...
But it's the yeah. Okay, I see. I already said I concede, and I agree with you guys on that. Okay, third one, talked about it in this episode.
Whoa.
And that is Furnace. Got that one played. Don't need to talk about that one anymore. Number 2, Messina 1347.
We did a feature review of this, episode 33. So it was shortly after our Shelf of Shame episode.
Got this one played immediately, which is crazy to me. This seems like a lot longer ago that we played this. And I played this a ton.
We got a ton of plays of this on Yukata as well, which was a lot of fun. I love that it's available.
We need to go back. We're not playing games on Yukata anymore, and I want to go back and play this one because I think it's a fantastic game. And I really enjoyed the physical plays of this one as well. I really like Messina 1347. And then number 1, I'm very glad I got this one off my Shelf of Shame. Undaunted Normandy. Played this one a lot. Played Undaunted Stalingrad even more, but that whole system is fantastic. Tyson, have you heard of this one?
No, but I totally forgot that you had this one on your Shelf of Shame because it was on there for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like it was it had just gotten...
No,
it was the previous Christmas.
Yes.
So it was on your Shelf of Shame for a year.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that you love it so much now is kind of... That's crazy to me. I feel like you've just been playing this forever.
No, I've been playing it for a year, which I wish I was playing it longer because it's that good of a game. But my number 1. I went 5 for 5.
Nice.
All of my Shelf of Shame games played. Granted, some of them were not as complicated as maybe some of yours, Tyler. But
I went for some heavier games this year.
You did.
Didn't have Skippo Wait Furnace on there.
Skippo Wait Furnace, whatever. Okay, that's your fault for putting those games on your list.
So my number 5 was Lowlands. This is a Z-Man Games game from Claudia Partenheimer and Rafe Partenheimer. It's weighty, 3.07 out of 5. I got this played in the 11th hour last night with Logan. We played this. It was a very relaxing game. It's similar to Pandemic Rising Tides, where you're trying to protect the Lowlands, protect Netherlands, from the Rising Tide. So you're building a dike wall somewhat collaboratively, and you're also trying to raise sheep. So you can be a little bit selfish and go for the sheep, but you'll take negative points that could end up hurting you at the end of the game. We successfully, by the end of the game, we had the dike wall built up enough that it did not flood. So Logan got to get rid of all of his selfish tokens that he had taken on earlier for flooding. But I still ended up winning. It was a very relaxing game. It gave me similar vibes, even though the gameplay is completely different, to Red Cathedral. Similar weight, similar playtime. We almost reset it and played again, and I feel like we could knock it out in 45 minutes as a 2-player game. So that was a lot of fun. I finally got that off Shelf of Shame last night. My number 4 was Nemesis Lockdown. Got a few plays of this early on in the year. Great experience. I think it plays, I think the original is the best one. But I like some of the things that it does differently in this one. I think it's a great solo experience as well. Unfortunately, in one of our group plays, Ben died very early on and then was on the couch for like an hour. So that kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
This is a little messed up.
The original one has a variant where the first person that dies can play as the aliens or the intruders, and so that's a little bit more fun, trying to take out the other players. But yeah, Nemesis Lockdown, fantastic game from Awaken Realms.
Is it fully off your Shelf of Shame?
I still have expansions and content to play for sure. I haven't opened up even the stretch goals box for that.
It's in shrink. I mentioned that. I'm touching the box and it's in shrink.
Yeah. 3.92 out of 5 complexity. I'm excited for the third and final Nemesis that crowdfunded earlier this year. Number 3. So I'm 2 for 2 so far. Number 3, Thunderstone Quest, 2.84 out of 5. This is, of course, a deck builder that is re-implements Thunderstone and Thunderstone Advance. You are building your deck of heroes, trying to make them more powerful, and then go into this dungeon and defeat monsters and collect treasure. Really enjoyed that. I've got a few more, some of the expansion boxes to play, but haven't gone back to this one too much. Got a couple plays early on in the year. 3 for 3 so far.
Thunderstone's great. I love the deck builders. We love deck builders around here.
Yeah, another great AEG game where they have put out plenty of expansions for.
Right. When's the next Kickstarter on that one?
Right. Probably right after the next Astro Knights crowdfunding project from Indie Board and Cards, right? I mean, they're on like a 9-month cycle too, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Just got that one yesterday, actually.
Nice.
The new Astro Knights. Super excited about that.
Cool.
Yep.
My number 2 on my list was Perseverance Castaway Chronicles, episode 1 and 2 from Mind Clash Games. We did a feature review of this all the way back in episode 36. So obviously I got this off my Shelf of Shame. Another very complex game, 4.27 out of 5. This is not my favorite Mind Clash game. I enjoyed episode 2 more than episode 1.
That was better. Yeah.
As long as I'm not playing as 2 players. Needs more than 2 players. I'm still excited to try episodes 3 and 4, but this one was kind of a miss for us.
Yeah, it fell flat a little bit for sure.
Yeah. So I'm 4 for 4. And the last thing on my list is The Great Wall, also from Awaken Realms. And I also got this played about a week ago.
Oh, you played this a week ago?
I played this. I did not post anything on Discord about it, but had a very enjoyable experience. It was lots of rules hunting. Played this with Logan, where I love the 2-player kind of third AI player in Dune Imperium and Dune Imperium Uprising. I do not love it in The Great Wall. That was a miss, and I would like to play this with 3 breathing bodies at the table and not just 2. Fantastic experience, though. They did a second Kickstarter, and they upgraded the original rulebook. The new rulebook was so much better and so much easier to learn the game. Some really interesting things. You're building up the Great Wall, obviously, to defend against the Mongolian hordes. You're moving your workers around, doing different actions. You have 6 or 7 cards to start out the game with, And based on what card you play, that determines the actions that you can do that round. But on each card is a action that everybody else does as well. And so you go through those in order. Very interesting things with moving your workers around and how they trigger the actions to occur. Sometimes if there are some locations where if you're the only one that's triggering it, you take a penalty. It's a 3.87 out of 5 complexity. I really enjoy it. It's ranked 500th overall on BGG. I am not going to call this game. I am excited to play it again. It was a really fun experience and really unique and just kind of different from anything I'd ever played before. So I was 5 for 5.
Yeah. Well done.
Woo!
Nice.
Did you guys say you were going to call any of the ones from your list?
I don't know. I might cull a couple of the Thunderstone quest expansions that I have. I've noticed that they are hard to find and higher valued on BGG. So I might get rid of those just because I don't know that I'll ever get back to that too much. Perseverance, I could see potentially getting rid of.
I think I'm keeping all of them on mine. I don't think I'm going to cull any of those. Yeah.
That's impressive because Shelf of Shame, they sit on our shelves so long and you get them played. I'm glad they didn't disappoint for you.
Yeah.
But you said you might get rid of Sidereal, Confluence, and Hyperborea?
Yeah, mainly because I don't think I'll get them played. If I can't get them played in a year where they're supposed to get played, I don't think I'm going to get them played.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I snuck in the Great Wall and Lowlands in this past week, but I was excited to do that. Those were really fun plays, both of them. So
nice. Good. Let's get into our new Shelf of Shame.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. I'll start.
Okay.
My number 5. So I got a ton of, this may be a slight cheat, but I got a ton of Aeon's End content, a Kickstarter fulfilled. I got Aeon's End Legacy, both versions. So I want to get Aeon's End Legacy played.
Okay.
And that's my number 5. I love Aeon's End. I got it played over the holidays again. Introduced my daughter to it. Came down to the end. It seems like almost every time you play that game, it's like a Cthulhu Death May Die, right? Where you feel like you're losing, you're going to die, and somehow you come together and you win at the last minute. And that's how this game was, which was really cool. Aeon's End Legacy, I've heard you build your own character throughout the game, which sounds amazing. I want to do that, and then it becomes a playable character that I think, if I understand it right, you can play in any other game of Aeon's End. So that's my number 5.
So you're going to try and get it played with your family.
Yeah, well, yeah, or whoever else wants to play, So
can you mix and match, do you know, as
I don't know.
you play?
Oh, I don't know if you can jump in and jump out.
Yeah.
I'll have to research that a little bit. I know my Matt has played it with his girlfriend. They loved it. And I think, I've introduced it to my daughter now, so, she knows how to play and she really liked it. Alicia's played, so I could see us 3 playing through that campaign.
Cool.
So that's my number 5.
Nice.
Aeon's End Legacy.
Tyson doesn't have a number 5. Just kidding.
I do. And because
He bought it today.
because Kevin
Picked it up on the way home.
So I looked at my list again, and I said 5 was what I had earlier. I have 6, and so I'm going to
decisions to make
a decision here.
Yeah.
And the decision actually was based off of Kevin's slight cheat there. So I'm going to do a slight cheat here.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to put for my number 5, Arkham Horror: The Path to Carcosa.
I fully support this.
It is a standalone game, but is it also an expansion? Yes, that's what I meant earlier in the episode, is that this is a game that is both kind of an expansion, but it is its own standalone game. So we've talked about Arkham Horror. I love Arkham Horror. I've played my base game Arkham Horror a number of times, and I want to play this more, and I want to dive into The Path to Carcosa, which takes place in a theater surrounding a play called The King in Yellow, and it's got this really intriguing storyline that I'm interested in. I don't need to talk too much about this, but that's my number 5, Arkham Horror: The Path to Carcosa.
So I could add Arkham Horror, The Circle Undone to my list, but it didn't make the list. But I am excited to play that as well.
You have a far larger selection of unplayed games than I do.
So I picked that up, and actually I got a base, the older version. I got 2 $6 copies, one for Shelley and one for Logan, so that we can all have our own decks.
I should have done it. It was a really good deal.
Too good of an opportunity to pass up on Miniature Market. So
if I didn't have so much content already, I would have probably picked it up.
Yeah. So my number 5 is actually a game that has been on my shelf. Gosh, it's probably been a few years ago. Mark gave me this game, and I've never played it. Legendary, like the Marvel one.
Right.
You've played that, Kevin.
Oh,
right?
I played that a ton.
It's a deck builder.
Yep. Love it.
I have Big Trouble in Little China. And in this one, you're fighting, of course, against Lopan and the Three Storms. I grew up in the 80s. I have huge nostalgia for Jack Burton and Big Trouble in Little China. I've got Jack Burton minifigures and just a classic, right? I love that movie. So I'm excited to get this off my shelf of shame finally. I have no excuse for not playing this. I've had it out. I've read the rules, just didn't get it played. So that's my number 5, Legendary Big Trouble in Little China.
And that Legendary system, it's just fun. It's just really well done.
There's another Big Trouble in Little China game that crowdfunded 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't get a copy of that. I hope that at some point there's a reprint of it, because secondhand market, it's like $300. And by all accounts, it's a great game. So in place of that, I'm going to play a Legendary Big Trouble in Little China this year.
Important question here, though. Jack Burton or Snake Plissken?
You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
I never saw the Snake Plissken movie, so I'm going with Jack Burton.
Oh, man.
All the way. The one-liners, the cavalier attitude.
I love Escape from New York.
Okay.
And Snake Plissken, he's a tough dude.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. Don't know what you guys are talking about. All right, cool. My number 4. This is one you've played, Tyler. This is Stranger Things Upside Down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I picked this one up this past year. This was designed by Rob Daviau. It's published by Simon. It's a cooperative game. I love Stranger Things. Watched all of the seasons with my family. Excited for the final season to come. So, I mean, this is one. There's no reason we haven't played this yet, because it appeals to my family so much, and it's a cooperative game which my family loves. So I don't think I'll have a problem getting this one played. It's just we need to get some time and do it. So the Stranger Things, the Upside Down.
The cool thing about it is there's 2 seasons to play, so you can
play
one side, season 1, which we have failed at miserably multiple times, and then season 2, which we haven't actually played yet. You flip the board and different things are going on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys like it, or it's pretty simplistic, right?
We liked it. It's very simple. Horrified pandemic type feel, even though it's slightly different mechanics.
Which I like that weight. I mean, I love Cthulhu Death May Die. It's a little bit heavier, but I also like, just to have more of a casual experience with my family, and to playing a game that has an IP that we love. I think it's going to be a home run. So we need to get this one.
We've been brutally destroyed and brutally failed in both attempts.
All right. Well, you don't want it to be too easy.
Yeah, that's right. No, definitely.
Yeah. They're putting that IP on a lot of things now, though, too.
Yeah.
To include, waffles. I've seen that. But my son for Christmas got a Lucas wrist rocket Nerf gun from Stranger Things. So
love it.
Cool.
That's great.
Hopefully at some point in 2026 we'll get season 5. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Who knows when that will happen.
Kids aren't going to be kids anymore. That's fine. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4, Stranger Things Upside Down.
Well, speaking of Stranger Things, there may not be anything stranger for me than having a button shy game that I haven't played on. And I have a game that has sat on my shelf of shame for button shy games for a long time now. This game came out in 2022, and I still haven't played it. It is called Battlecrest Fellwoods. And this is the base game of it. I have one expansion for it, but if you're not familiar with button shy games, 18 card game. This can be played solo, or it can be played up to 4 players if you have enough content to do so. Essentially what it is, though, is it's a skirmish game that you can play with multiple different characters, and you have specific attacks, and there's like a grid-like movement or arena on that using the cards. And I've sat down, I've read the rules for this, I've set it up a couple of times, and then I just haven't played it due to other distractions or life getting in the way. So this is one that I really want to get played. I like the designers, Dustin Dobson and Milan Zivkovic. And I think that the other games that they've designed are really well done. So I want to get this one played. I think it would be a better experience to play this 2 players, which is why I think it hasn't come off my shelf yet. But yeah, that is Battlecrest Fellwoods.
Nice. So my number 4 is a game that apparently has been on my shelf since December of 2020. It is Merv, M-E-R-V, Merv, The Heart of the Silk Road. And this is designed by Fabio Lopiano, who has done games like Ragusa, Kalimala. He was a co-designer on Three Ring Circus. And is part of the new Kalimala that is coming out this year, crowdfunding, right? So what originally attracted me to Merv, The Heart of the Silk Road, was the Ian O'Toole art. And beyond that, I know that this is a complicated game. I don't remember anything else. It's just going to be a whole new experience, and at some point, I'm going to get this played.
Cool.
That's my number 4, Merv.
All right, so my number 3, this game has been on my shelf of shame for about 2 months, maybe less, month and a half, not a long time. I talked about this one in the Essen, the games we're excited about for Essen. Picked it up over Thanksgiving. That is Zhangguo. Is that the correct front? Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, so this one's designed by Marco Canetta and Stefiana Nicolini. It's published by Sorry We Are French. This one, I talked about it before, and slight cheat again, not really. I've played Zhangguo, but this is a new version of it, and it adds new things to the game.
I mean, if you feel good about this.
I feel fantastic about this.
Here you are beating me up about my BG.
Well, that's what we do. So, it has interesting card play mechanic. You play cards to the board. And each card has a number, and depending on what number you play is what kind of bonus you get. If it's higher than the card that's previously played, you get a bonus in some cases. If it's lower, then you get a bonus in some cases. I remember that being a super interesting mechanic. You're building the Great Wall. You're installing governors in areas. You're building palaces. I think in this new version, there's a sea that you're maybe sailing around. That's one of the new things that's been added. There's long-term planning and variable endgame scoring that I think changes from game to game. I think it's a fairly heavy brain-burny type game, pretty high on the complexity rating. I think it's up close to 4 on BGG.
Hey,
so
nice.
There you go. So it's 3.96 complexity. So it's a little bit higher on the complexity rating. So I'm just excited. I opened it up, played with the pieces. I mean, I guess according to your guys' definition, I've already played the game. So if you're doing that. I don't know. But sleeve the cards, got that all. So it's ready to go, ready to play. I just need to read the rules and get it played. So I'm excited for this one. Zhangguo, the First Empire, my number 3.
Nice.
So my number 3 is another Empire style game. It's one that's been on my shelf for about 3 years. This is Tikal. I've never played Tikal. This game originally came out in 1999.
Yeah, this is an old one.
It's not like a new game by any means.
Is this a ladder? No.
It is a Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer game. And they design a lot of really amazing games.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I liked it. My wife gave this game to me as a gift 3 years ago.
And you haven't played it yet?
I haven't played it. Well, because she gets me gifts and then doesn't play the games with me that she gets me sometimes. So that's hard. But idea of this is that you're exploring a jungle, the jungles in Central America, and you're trying to discover lost temples and treasures and things like that. And so the board, as you go through it, you're exploring new content in forms of hex tiles. My version does not have as pretty of components as some of the other versions that I've seen. I think there's a Super Meeple version that is really gorgeous. Mine is not that, but I still really want to get this one played. I don't know a ton about it other than it's really highly regarded. It's rated 323 overall on BGG. Yeah. And so I've wanted to play this. I just haven't had the right opportunity yet to play this one.
I would love to play this one. Yeah, we should get it out and play.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm all about that because we didn't focus on my games this last year, or at least I didn't focus on my games.
Yeah, we need to get you to 5-5 this year.
I need to get 5.
That's right.
So that's part of the reason I'm choosing games that I think others might be interested in or are soloable.
And you only have 5 or 6 to choose from.
I don't have that
That's
many.
another reason. Yeah. No, Tikal, that sounds great. I'd love to play.
Nice. So my number 3 is ISS Vanguard. This is my Awaken Realms entry for this year. I got this. I did the single wave shipping, so I got my copy like 2 years after everybody else got theirs that did the separate waves. Got this about a week or 2 ago. I am excited to play this. I was debating on whether or not I might keep it or just sell it, but I've been reading more about it, and I'm excited to get it to the table.
You're going to keep it.
And I'm going to play it. I'm going to keep it. I might sell some of the expansion stuff that I have and stretch.
This is a commitment, though, right?
It is. So this, it's like this. Your crew of a interstellar ship in outer space. There's kind of 2 main stages. There's a ship phase where you make decisions, and that's part of the gameplay. And then you go down to a world and you're exploring it, and it's got kind of a binder book that you flip through as you're playing it. I've heard that the story is fascinating, and it's something that I might actually play solo to get it played, just to get the full, as much as I can out of it, because
it's tough with those, heavy narration in a game where you're reading a lot. If you're with the group, losing some of the people if if it's text heavy.
Yeah, including myself sometimes.
Yeah, yes.
But I'm excited.
Having flashbacks of your journeys to Middle Earth.
Yes. That fell flat for our group.
Yes.
Well, most of us, I think.
I've almost bought ISS Vanguard.
It's been on, like, you go to...
For solo play specifically, multiple times. You
go to the board game stores, and it's sitting there on the shelf, and it's like, well, I've still got 6 months before I get my copy. But whatever, that's how I did it. I am excited to open this up. I have not taken off the wrap yet, but it's upstairs in my office. It's ready, waiting to be played. So I'm excited for that one. That is ISS Vanguard, my number 3.
All right. Well, my number 2 is also set in space with a very interesting theme. Right. Do you guys hear that transition?
Yeah.
That was really good.
I am getting better. This is great. So, but this one has a very different theme. And the theme is Space Bees. Apiary. So I picked up Apiary the same time I picked up Zhanguo. I wasn't going to get this one initially, right? Because when I first heard about it, I'm like, Space Bees, that's kind of stupid. I don't know. It just doesn't sound interesting to me. But then as I have heard more reviews, people are really enjoying it. And it has a fairly quick playtime. There's been some back and forth on how quickly it plays, but it looks like, 60 to 90 minutes, if you can believe that, I guess, is pretty quick. It's worker placement, it's got variable player powers, and it's got Space Bees. What more to say about that? So It just sounds interesting. I'm excited to get it played. Looks like the pieces are awesome. The production's great. It's Stonemaier Games, designed by Connie Vogelman. Artist is Quanchai Morea. Looks good.
I'm very interested in playing this. before we play it, I want to watch the Space Bees Futurama episode together.
Right.
I know I've mentioned that before on this
Right.
podcast.
We can do
and
it.
then play it so we get the full experience.
Got it. I'm the only one that owns this one at this point, right?
Yeah, I had almost an identical experience to what you just described in that I was not interested in it very much at first.
Yep.
And then I started to hear a lot of good things. And I went and was like, had it in a shopping cart essentially. And then basically at that same time, I saw on Discord that you posted that you had purchased this one. Right. And I was like, well, I guess I can wait to see if I can play Kevin's copy. So I'm eager to play this one.
Yep. Awesome. Let's get it played.
Cool.
It's my number 2.
Well, speaking of space,
Oh, nice transition.
right. My game is also a space game. This is a game that I recently got from a Kickstarter called Lunar Rush. It is a game for 1 to 4 players. It's designed by Steve Brown, who actually is a friend of mine. And he and I helped him at certain points on this game with some play testing. And so I've played a little bit of this on Tabletop Simulator. And so I'm very excited for him that he's gotten this one
This is
published.
the brother of Will, the Hungry Gamer.
That's correct. Yeah, he's brother to Will, and that's how we met actually. And he lives here in Colorado, while Will doesn't. But we met through Will, and then I started playing some of his game designs, and I want to play the final product of this because I haven't played it yet, and it has a lot of things that were finished being developed after I had played it. So there's some changes in here, but essentially what it is that Steve, what he likes to do is with his designs, he likes to stay in the space theme for the most part, and then base it off of some sort of real element. So in this one, he's trying to show that the orbits and launching space shuttles from Earth to the moon, this is basically a new gold rush, more or less, and you can take long, short, or medium routes to the moon based off of their orbital trajectories, and it's this resource management kind of economic game. I've enjoyed what I've seen of it so far, and I'm excited to see the final product of this. But that's Lunar Rush.
Yeah, Will gave me a quick demo of this at Origins a couple of years ago, and I'd be interested in playing this with you, Tyson.
Well, let's play it.
Staying in space, I've got some unfinished business. A game that I've had on my shelf since, I believe, June of 2022. It's actually an expansion. This is Star Wars Outer Rim Unfinished Business. And basically, you guys haven't played Outer Rim, have you?
I have not.
So I've played this multiple times with Logan. We've had a lot of fun with it. It's kind of a pick up and deliver game. You got contracts and you're moving around to the different Star Wars planets. This Outer Rim expansion just adds new characters, ships, gear, bounties, jobs, more dice, tiles that let you get across the galaxy quicker by passing through the core worlds. Because one of maybe the complaints is you pick up a contract, you're on one side of the arc on the map, and to get all the way to the other side of the Outer Rim takes a long time. So I'm excited to get this one played. Probably end up playing it with just Logan, unless somebody else wants to jump in. But Star Wars in some aspects of my life is dead to me, but as far as board games go, I'm still ready to play. So
nice.
Need to get this one off. That is my number 2, Star Wars Outer Rim, the expansion, Unfinished Business.
And I must say that was a spectacular transition.
Thank you.
Nice. Hey, so how often do you guys think of Rome?
At least 3 times since we last mentioned it.
Right? Okay, cool. Well, I just thought of it recently because my number 1 game is Carpe Diem that I want to get played. In this game, players, they play a role of rich patricians in ancient Rome. Okay. This is designed by Stefan Feld. Artist is Lalanda Hruchka. Sorry about that. And it's published by Alea. So
Which it's top quality if it's published by Lab.
Okay, so that's one thing. This is not a looker, right? It's a white box. It looks very plain. I got it out and I punched all the boards. Very thin cardboard. The production's not great, but a lot of these Stefan Feld games, you're not playing for the production. You're playing for the gameplay, right? This one looks really fun. What really interested me about this, other than I got it for half off, was the 60-minute play time. I mean, I think this one plays really quick. And there's actually been some discussion about this recently on our Discord, or some of the Discord members have been playing it. I asked the question, they played a 2-player game. I asked the question, how quick was that? And I think it was like 30, 40 minutes or something. It was very quick play time. It looks like it has some interesting decisions that you make. It's a drafting tile placement game. It's variable setup, so it looks like it's going to be a little bit different every time you play. Looks like the gameplay itself is very easy, but there's a lot of difficult and tough decisions, which I think that's a perfect combination for games, is if the mechanics are simple, but the decisions are tough. And it seems like this game has that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get this one played. I don't think it's going to be too hard to get off the shelf of Shame, since it's a shorter one.
It's interesting. I don't think we play a lot of Stefan Feld games.
We do not. No. I've played Castles of Burgundy, and I think that's about it.
I think I played,
but he's got
Bruges
some
and
Merlin. That's, I think, about it for me.
He's got some very highly regarded games. You know,
he does.
And we haven't really explored his games a whole lot. So
I'm a little disappointed you didn't get the older copy of Carpe Diem, because the box art rivals the guy on Hansa Teutonica of some of the older versions.
Hey, I picked up what was available. You know?
I mean, that guy just has a mischievous smile. I don't know what's going on. There's some gold being exchanged for fish or something. I don't know. It feels like somebody's being betrayed. I don't know what's going on.
You're looking at the Ravensburger.
Yeah. The Leah Ravensburger version.
And it looks like a Concordia, basically, too.
It does have a Concordia. Like, wow.
That goes up there in the box art.
What's wrong with her face?
Yeah, that goes up there in the box art Hall of Fame with Hansa Teutonica and
the Golden Ages.
The Golden Ages. Trois up there.
Yeah, Trois. We talked about this before. I love the Trois art. I think it's fantastic. It fits perfect for the game.
It's the same artist.
The Golden Ages is horrible. Yeah. No, this is. I'm kind of upset I don't have this version as well. Yeah. I mean, that's those fish just hanging out there in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I mean, if that doesn't make you want to play the game, I don't know what does.
Right.
It's either that or a plain white box. Who's handling their marketing? I don't know. But I mean, gameplay looks fantastic.
Cool.
We'll see. We'll see how it is.
I would like to play this.
All right, let's do it.
Well, since you guys have both had fantastic transitions, I want to seize this opportunity.
Wow. We are all on fire.
Seize the day.
Yep, seize it.
By talking about my number one game that I want to get off my shelf of shame. And I think I'm going to be able to get this off of my shelf, though I do think that it's going to be a slight cheat, because I may not even have to get it out of Shrink. It's still in Shrink. It's Septima. And we have multiple copies. I think we have like 4 copies of this in our group.
We do.
And so I may not even have to open my box to be able to play this. And I really want to get this played. And part of me wants to get it played without opening the box so that I can get it tested and see if I want to hold on to it.
Do you want mine?
I've played it, but I haven't played my own copy.
You played Ben's copy.
Are you gonna? No, you played my copy.
So Kevin's copy was the copy that got brought to Cabin Con,
because I got it a little bit earlier than everybody else, and I punched it and
then Kevin ended up leaving earlier Saturday night with you and Mark, and Ben and Greg and I played. He was nice enough to leave his copy behind, and we played it that Sunday morning before we left.
But Kevin, you haven't played it yet.
I have not.
Right?
Nope.
So it's on both our shelves of shame.
It is.
It's not on your list, but we can knock this off the shelf of shame.
Oh, yeah. I want to play it.
I was actually thinking of nominating this for next week's game night.
Ooh, see?
Okay.
That would be the quickest way.
I would love to play this. Get it played.
I'm very interested in it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Or we could play Voidfall.
Oh, yes. I want to play that.
I do too.
We could do.
I was going to ask you
double
guys,
header.
After we're done with this list, what are some games that we have played that we want to play more this following year? And Voidfall is top on my list.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And we haven't really even approached that.
We barely scratched the surface of that game.
Right, and we haven't talked about it on the podcast at all. We've been trying to get more plays of it. We have a few plays. Tyson would need a whole new rules.
Yeah.
Overview.
I played
And
once.
and I may need one as well. No, but yeah. Anyway, a little bit of a tangent here, but yeah, Septima.
But it's Mind Clash. That's why it was this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We need a Mind Clash on our list every year. One on somebody's list.
It's just like the Awakened Realms.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right. Cool. Septima. Yeah, I'd be happy to play this next week.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I would play that for sure.
My number one is a game that has been on my shelf of shame probably for 2 years now. I've backed the second one in this line of games. This is Clank Legacy. Obviously, the second Clank Legacy 2 has not fulfilled yet. But after playing Clank Catacombs, which is
awesome,
since ordered, and
nice,
will be here, I think, on Saturday. I just want to revisit the world of Clank so much, and I've heard so many people say that Clank Legacy is their favorite Legacy game, which is saying a lot when there's games like Pandemic Legacy, Season 1 or 2. But the fact that we got this played, Clank Catacombs at Cabin Con, I just want to revisit that, and I want to get Clank Legacy off my shelf of shame. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I want to do that. And
I know how you're going to do it. Campaign game night.
Yeah.
All right.
It's on the list.
All right.
Well, that was a goal.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's a goal too.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do a campaign game night.
Well, we got some Arkham Horror to play, but yeah. Clank.
Okay.
Let's tee that one up after.
And then we'll go back to Arkham Horror.
Yeah, because we've got a ton of content there.
Yeah. We got to get Path to Carcosa and Circle and Done. I might play that one with Sean.
Let's see where we're at in like 3 years from now.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So that was my number one.
Nice.
That's a worthy number one. I've played that one time, and I can, like, even that first intro, I haven't played Clank Catacombs, so I can't speak to that, but of all the Clanks I've played, that was my favorite experience with it to date. Like, and I barely scratched the surface of that by one play, but I would eagerly await playing more of that game.
Very interested in that one. Yeah.
I mean, Paul Denon's a prolific deck building game designer. That and the Clank Catacombs, and I don't know. I want to get this played. And Season 2 or Legacy 2 is coming next year, so I need to get this off my shelf so I can have that one on my shelf.
Nice. Man, you got ISS Vanguard to play, Clank Legacy. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm quitting my day job.
Apparently.
So I think that wraps up our top 5 lists. Any surprises there?
No, I don't know if there's surprises. I mean, I have a few kind of that almost made it on there. Septima was definitely on the short list. I've got Santa versus Krampus Dice Throne. I haven't played that yet. That'd be awesome. Tinner's Trail, a Martin Wallace game.
That was on your list last year.
It was on my short list last year. I was going to put that on there. I'm like, well, Martin Wallace game? Yeah, I got it for cheap. I definitely want to get that played. Final Girl I haven't played yet. Astronauts, like I mentioned, came yesterday. That is technically on my shelf of shame. I'm going to get that played. So I've got a few other ones that I want to.
Did you have any other ones, Tyson?
Yeah, I got one. I got one other one.
what was it?
It's Pacific Rails Inc.
Oh, okay.
I actually bought this one when we did our train episode.
Yeah.
But it arrived after our train episode.
We were burned out of train games
and at that point, it just didn't get played because I would be interested in playing it. It's a worker placement style in a unique way. Actually, it reminds me of some of the mechanisms in Unconscious Mind where you place your worker. There are adjacent spots that you can take. So you're blocking potentially one spot or multiple spots.
Is that fulfilled yet?
No, it hasn't. So I do have a number of games that will be coming soon that I'm sure I want to get off my shelf of shame pretty quickly when they arrive, like Skyrise and Unconscious Mind.
So I have a train one that's technically, it was kind of it would have been on my list. Age of Steam. I've played it solo, but I would love to play that. Technically, I've played it, but that's right up there. Dwarf Romantic, I have got that at Gen Con. Haven't played that yet. Excavation Earth from
That's been on there for
David
a while.
Turtsey. Yeah, I've had that for a while. I've got new expansions that I still haven't played, obviously. So that's on there.
I love when I get expansions to games I haven't played.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
when you know you have a problem.
Yeah.
Anno 1800. Dan gave me that the same time that you gave him Undaunted Normandy.
Yeah, that's been a few years.
Yeah. Guerrilla Marketing, little party game.
Okay.
Haven't played that one yet. Trick Shot.
Yeah.
Just got
got that one, right?
hockey game that.
Have you played that beaver faced board game where the people look like beavers?
Oh
my gosh.
What is that
How
called?
Dare You?
How dare you? Yeah.
We
You
haven't
knew what I
actually
was talking about.
gosh.
So I was really surprised. That game came in like a 52 card deck box. Like it is tiny. I was not expecting that. Yeah, hilarious art. We've gotten out cards and gone through some of them, but we haven't sat down and played officially at the table.
So why is that not like number one on your shelf of shame list?
Well, I mean, it's too easy to knock out. That's a 5-minute game. So I am getting.
And you're prone to wanting heavy games on your shelf of shame list as opposed to Kevin who wants the light ones.
Well, I mean, it's just
Yeah,
it's just games I'm interested in getting played.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, Sleeping Gods, Distant Skies. Oh, yeah. Another beast to get off my shelf. Just recently got that a few weeks ago.
If you want a hop in, hop out player for that, I'd happily try some of that with you.
All right, cool. Yeah, good list there. Some honorable mentions, I guess. So that wraps up our Shelf of Shame games. Jump on our Discord. What are some of your Shelf of Shame games? Let us know. Let's get some good discussions going and find out what you guys have had on your shelves for far too long.
Or if you've played any of the games that are on our lists.
What should we play first?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Where should we start on our Shelf of Shame lists?
Yeah. And single digits Shelf of Shame by the next time we do one of these episodes. That's my goal.
Oh, success. I already did it.
My goal.
Tyson's already there.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll
Any
see.
other goals?
Let's place bets on see if that's going to happen, Tyson.
If Tyler does?
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
and I
If
don't
he
have
gets
to
to-
give
if he
away
gets-
any of my games because I was 5 for 5.
If he gets single digits, yeah.
Yeah.
By this time next year,
He
I
said
think there
something
is
similar to
no chance that will ever happen. Because Tyler says,
Challenge accepted.
I'm going to slow down buying games.
Yeah.
50 games later. Like, how many games did you add to your collection this year, do you think?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a spreadsheet, but
So
I don't want to know.
So you do have, yeah. It's just, you
I'm
don't-
tracking it, but I don't want to know.
You don't want to look. Yeah.
I did pick up the reason I got Clank Catacombs. Well, I really want it.
Right.
There's a game that I almost picked up at Gen Con. It's a trivia game called CDSK. Secret Cabal talked about this a little bit. Jamie talked about it on their Misfit episode. But basically, you get a topic, and then, like, say it's Star Wars, right? Your team has to say, okay, how confident are you from 1 to 10 in that topic? And so if you say 6, then you're going to get a 6th level question, right? If you say 2, you're going to get a much easier question. But if you get it right, then you only move 2 spaces. Where if you get a 6 right, then you move 6 spaces. So this game is hard to find. I found some local game store in North Carolina that was carrying it, and they also had Clank Catacombs at a really good price. And both of those together got me to free shipping. So that's why I'm getting Clank Catacombs. So I'm excited to get both of those games.
So that you could get this smaller.
This kind of transition to what I'm excited about.
Oh, nice.
That is exciting. That does sound fun.
I love trivia games, and so the how this one's set up just sounds fun. I wish I would have bought it at Gen Con. The booth for, I can't remember the name, but their booth was just constantly swamped, and wasn't really ever interested in waiting in line. So.
Yep.
What are you guys excited about?
I've got one I'm excited about. It's on Kickstarter currently as we record this. It has about a week left to go.
Is this a solo game?
It is a solo game. I haven't committed whether or not I'm buying this one yet because I don't know if I need more of these or not. I like them. But this is a simply solo game designed by Scott Alms. It's a button shy game. It's the last
Tyson's
Shocker.
Tyson's bread and butter.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and I really like Scott Alm's Simply Solo games. There's some that I think are better than others. I'm not sure I love as much the look about this one. I've looked through it. I like it, but I don't know. I'm excited about it because it's a Simply Solo game. I want to play it. I may pick up this and then the Royal Limited as well, which is also available through this Kickstarter. It's the only other Simply Solo game that I don't already own. So, yeah, that's the Last Lighthouse.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to get games off my shelf of shame. So these games that I've talked about, I'm like, I want to get them played right now. That's what I'm excited to do.
I'm excited. Hey, we got through the holidays. Let's get back into our routine game nights. Let's start playing some new games.
I'm also excited at the potential. We've discussed having a way to achieve a campaign game night. So I'm hoping that we can come and get that done because I would love to play some.
We need to get the next scenario of the Dunwich Legacy played.
Totally.
I'm dying to see where the story goes.
Yeah.
Poor Ashcan Pete.
You already died.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, I need to create
Duke the dog, after attacking Tyler, is he's gone.
I need a new character as well. Yes. Wormspan from Stonemaier.
Oh,
Kind of a
Wormspan.
Rethemed, updated a little bit from Wingspan.
I don't know how I feel about this, but it could be amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel either. Same designer as Apiary, Connie Fogelman, and Elizabeth Hargrave, who was the designer of Wingspan, is the developer for Wormspan.
So there was a discussion about this on our Discord server that was really interesting. And like, I think, Tyler, you kicked this off by speculating what all the code names of everything was. And then Carl from Purple Moose Plays mentioned that one of those code names, Wild, had something to do potentially with Jamie's love of Breath of the Wild, Zelda. Mm-hmm. And that made me suddenly very interested in that project. And I would love to see that more so than I am.
That wasn't an official announcement. That's
speculation.
It's not.
It's all speculative. Yeah. Absolutely.
I would be interested in that potentially, depending on what it is. I mean, if it's throwing recipes together at the cooking fire,
I'm in it. I'm in for it.
Pass on that because that's the worst part about that game.
That's fine. I like it.
Wormspan, I don't know.
I'm interested to see the reviews.
I'm interested in playing someone else's copy, I think.
Yeah, and seeing what people think of it. Wingspan it fell a little flat for me. So if it's based on that system, it sounds like it's a more complicated game than Wingspan, which could make for some interesting strategy, I guess. But we'll see how well it's received, and then may check it out.
I'm just excited to see Inigo Montoya play this version of it.
I don't know that that's going to happen. Also announced from Stonemaier, the revised, adjusted, rebalanced Tapestry Civilization Pack.
You're kidding me.
Nope. It's fully...
I can't stand that game. I've gotten to the point where I just don't want to play it anymore.
I still love it.
I do too. And I've played lots of games.
It's such a weird game because when you're playing it, it's like, this is fun, I think. And then you get to the end, you're like, oh, huh?
I would be interested in getting this pack. It's 31 revised civilizations from Plans and Ploys, the base game, and Arts and Architecture.
This is just ridiculous.
They left out Fantasies and Future expansion and the civs from that. And
there's got to be another update pack for that.
It's because he's gathering all his data from
BGA.
BGA and
I don't know that one's on BGA, is it? I don't think
No, but some of them are coming from forum submissions and things like that, which
I still haven't even played any of those civs. They look really cool, but
so is the goal to everybody ties? Let's balance this game perfectly, so no matter how you play, everybody ties. You know,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't see that announcement.
I still love the game. It is funny that you can score like 120 points in one game and 340 in another game.
Not playing any differently.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
Look, I got to the end of this track and I pulled another civilization that gives me 0 points. The next time I play, I pull this other civilization that gives me 50 points.
I think there is a little bit more skill to it. There is. I've played probably around 100 games of it. and we've had this discussion already, obviously, so I'm not going to belabor it. But I have had almost a constant game with the same group of Tapestry, and we all kind of equally kind of win at different times. And so it's been interesting to play. Like, I've probably played 50 games with the same group of people on BGA, and it's been fun. Though I have to admit, recently I got a little bit of fatigue, and so they sent the next invite after the end of the last game, and I declined because I was like, all right, I need to take a little bit of a Tapestry break. But
I still like it. It's, I don't know, it is what it is. The randomness of the Tapestry cards has a huge influence on how many points you score.
Oh no, you've got a trap.
Cards.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Trap cards, yeah. I still really enjoy the mechanics of the game. And
I did too.
I think I'll wait until the next update pack.
yeah. Anything else we're excited about? It's been fun to record again. It's been a while, and I'm excited to get some more content going this year and put out some more episodes and kind of get back in the swing of things. So it was nice to have a bit of a break, but
now we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, not sorry.
I mean, hopefully this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Are you meaning you were sorry we were gone so long?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Oh, I thought you said sorry we're back.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry for taking a little bit of a break. We need to recoup and have family time and get back in the swing of things.
And apparently get healthy again. So.
Yes. I have barely coughed. I'm amazed because lately, if I try to explain rules to Logan while we're playing a new game, like I can't make it through half a paragraph without coughing. So I don't know.
There you go.
We did it.
We're
back.
All right.
Episode 53 is in the books. Hoo-yah.
Boom.
Woo-hoo.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Longest Turn Board Gaming Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you want more Longest Turn in your life, please check us out on Instagram. Also, be sure to check us out on Board Game Geek, where you can join our guild, Guild 3947, and check out our blog, where we post all our show notes and occasionally post more detailed reviews. If that's not enough for you, we have a Discord server. If you want to play a game with us on Board Game Arena, join our Board Game Arena group, The Longest Turn. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Tot ziens.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Welcome. Is that too loud?
I mean, I think the energy was great.
I thought it was excellent.
You nailed it.
My mind went blank. Must have not been that important.
Well, it sounds like you have to become a master miner in this game.
All right, that's Tyson's number one.
You want me to?
Septima.
You said, all right, Septima, so I thought you had already covered that for me. All right, that was Septima.
Cool. Well, that wraps up what we've been...
We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we, Wang?